But I think, also, if I start with what I understand, for a male, what you call a good guy, it's always the guy who is respectful, knows how to communicate. But he's not, I mean, and I don't want to use the term loosely when I say aggressive, but there's a way he has a certain respect for a female, even if he's
Yeah.
not getting what he wants. And he's not pushing, he's not pressuring. And there's a way he carries himself. And it's not just with females. He's a person like that. Like if you see a guy with his mother, that's how you'd expect him to be with you. So if you see him treat females a certain way, he respects himself. And of course, from my perspective, it also has to be colored in my lens. If he's someone who believes in God and acts like that, he's not just in church on Sunday throwing his hands up in the air. When you see him outside, he's that same thing. So it really boils down to character for me. That's a good guy. Now, of course, I'm not really thinking about money, but for some people, money might be in it too. But I'm thinking about the character, who they are, their spirit, their person. And essentially for a young woman, when you're looking for a good guy, how will that man be as a father to your children? Because that's going to be a big part in how your life turns out. So for me, that's how you kind of judge what a good guy, a good girl or a good female. Let me put it like that. For males, and I think and I don't want to say and sound bad, but for them, it's almost harder because unfortunately, for the most part, most females are primarily responsible for rearing the children. So if you as a man pick a female who is, for lack of a better term, a nutcase, your children are finished. Because you're going to be, I mean, essentially we're thinking you're the provider, you're running out. Even if she's working, for some reason, females always end up rearing the children. If you pick a nutcase raising your children, then you're going to have a whole bunch of nutters coming up as well. And that's going to be a whole bunch of money you're spending on therapy. So just to use that term loosely, that's how I kind of throw it out there. That's why I'm thinking that. But let me let the ladies jump in.
Thank you, Lola.
Maybe if I can jump in here.
Go for it.
Just thinking, for me,
Honestly, I
when
don't
we think
necessarily see a difference between KG and Rashid.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Oh, sorry. Was there two people speaking? Who was speaking first?
I think it was Max that was.
Max was speaking first. Shanice, sorry,
I heard
Shanice.
Max.
Were you speaking?
No, I was, but Shanice, it could have just been the connection. You can go
Okay.
first.
No, Max, because of the order, innit? Max then Shanice. Go on for it, Max.
Okay, cool. Okay, so can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm thinking we mentioned Rashid, we mentioned Chris, we also mentioned Winter. I think, there's been points suggested, and I think the issue is the system, the value system, the way people analyze things and decide things. It's corrupt. And I'll put it like this: if I drank a drink of water every day and it had a little bit of poison in it, and that was the taste I became accustomed to, the day I drink water without poison, it tastes wrong. It's better, but it tastes wrong to me. And so when we have toxic dating experiences or toxic childhood or whatever experiences, we now become accustomed to toxins. So when we're now digesting something pure, we're like, oh, something's wrong here. Oh, I don't like good guys. Really? You don't like good guys? Why not? Because you're accustomed to toxins. So now you get a guy like KG on a show like this, and everybody's like, KG, oh, to the bin. And it's like, KG, why would you throw KG to the... When I saw people calling KG a simp and a punk and stuff, I was so confused. I said, KG? Surely not. Right. Like, KG, what's wrong with KG? But again, we're used to a different system. We're used to a corrupt system. So someone like KG doesn't fit. He was kicked out very quickly. Then you have someone like Rashid. Again, he wasn't received that well either, really. He ended up kind of left out as well. And I think the corruption of how Winter was painted was down to this idea of keeping a man. I think it was more seen as failure, Winter's side. And she kind of felt that burden of, no, I need to keep this up because I can't lose him. Because again, in women, we've got this idea planted of, I need to keep. Whereas Rashid, he doesn't have that burden. If you're not receiving what I'm putting out there, I step back. But as women, we feel, even though we're never told we're the predators, we still chase because we're told to keep. So it's a very weird ideology where even though we're not predators, once a guy should pick us, we've got to hold on for dear life. And so I felt like Winter was really struggling with that. She was like, well, how do I, how can I really let go of this? Right, exactly. So how can I really let go of this now? Because this situation is now for me to sustain once he has picked me. And that is killing us as women. That ideology that I have to now do everything. Now I've kindly been selected by this man to keep everything going. I have to keep the house in order. I have to keep the sex like this. I had to keep the. That's killing us as women. And I think that's why you get the variation. It's the different toxins. It's the toxic idea of keeping a man. It's this toxic idea of, oh, I don't want a guy like KG, which is crazy. And then you've also got Rashid, who kind of favorably fits into the system because it's like, well, we respect him when he bows out, even though technically everybody did the same thing, but they didn't get the favor. So I definitely think the issue is the system. And if we don't want to get caught up in it, as people who are now analyzing it, you have to find out what toxins you're used to. And you need to start purifying your own system, because if not, you would be like, sorry to use her like this, but Adriana kind of going after the thing that isn't that great for you and thinking that's the thing that I really need, when actually it's a dead end. And I would hate for us to be on a path to a dead end. So I do think we have to take time to really sit down with ourselves and say, okay, am I on a path now which puts this idea of high value in a very distorted way? You know, if you're a person of faith, sit down with your faith and say, what does high value mean spiritually? Or what does it mean from God? And let me not sit down and say Idris is better than Kojo because Idris has money and he has muscles and he has fame. Okay, but then does he have faithfulness? Does he have a good character? Is he going to be the one that's with you in 30 years from now? And so if we continue to be on this system that's going to lead us to a dead end, you know, we're going to turn around and, you know, look at our lives and be like, we really made that bad decision. So those are just some thoughts, really.
Thank you, Max. You told Kojo.
It's better to cry. It's better to cry in your Lamborghini than cry in your Micra. You understand?
You made such a great point, Kojo, because you're gonna pick Megan Good, I'm assuming, off of mostly physical attributes, correct?
No, when I said that, guys, I said this is why I gave you the example of Xerxes in the Bible. When you can have your choice of litter pickings, you are choosing the best option, not in terms of looks, but if you can start off with looks, and within looks you can find someone who's got the best personality, who can help you as a helper, has got all the essential qualities. That's what I'm saying. You filter it. So I'm not saying that it's simply on looks, but what I'm saying is, if you have that ability, that platform to choose the best mate possible, and the best mate was not just simply physical, it's all the attributes, and you have that ability to, why would you settle? If Idris is a good guy, faithful, then fantastic. If he's not faithful, then I'm not expecting you to choose Idris. No, I'm saying it in the sense of, if he was a faithful guy, he was loving, he was caring, all those kind of things. Me versus Idris, we do the exact same thing. That's what I meant. If we do the exact same thing, are you choosing me or Idris? Listen, I will tell you, if you don't choose Idris, you don't have wisdom. We do the exact same thing and you wouldn't choose Idris, because I'm not choosing you. If it's you and Megan Good and you do the exact same thing, I wouldn't choose you. If they do the exact same thing, I wouldn't. So why would I expect you to choose me if we do the exact same thing? That's what I'm talking about. Not just Idris on his own. He has to do the exact same thing I do, which is that be faithful, all those kind of things are in between. That's right. But go on, Sinead.
You know, I can't wait to I'm going to bounce out so that someone else can join. So good night, everybody. Thank you, Kojo.
I wanted to answer your questions today.
Shanae's got to go. She got work in the morning. Shanice, sorry, I cut you off. Shanice, go for it. Shanice, go for it. Let me bring Jakenya now. Go, Shanice. Yep.
No problem. I think that, at least the way you have described that whole ideology of high value, I think is a bit different than what most people talk about. And when most people discuss it, they're talking about it from the perspective of mainly just finances and this person being this. When I think of it, at least the example I think in my head is like the Steve Harvey type. Like this person that has this big amount of money and whatever, and he married somebody like Marjorie. And you know what I mean? So I think that's what, when they talk about high value, that's what they're looking for. Somebody to have on their arm that looks nice, or take care of the house, is able to entertain, you know. So when I think high value, that's the archetype that I think about, you know. And for me, I don't subscribe to that, you know what I mean? I don't think that benefits me in any real way. So therefore, that type of man is not somebody that I would look for. You know what I mean? So I would look for values. Obviously, I want somebody that's employed and works hard and, you know, is ambitious. But
come on now.
You know, that type of lifestyle or thing is not necessarily something that I would specifically subscribe to. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, as much as we subscribe to society's ideology or idea of what is high value, whatever. We as an individual need to decide for ourselves what we see as high value, what are the traits of a person that we really want, you know?